A famous surgeon paid her night cleaner $12,000 to pretend to be her date. The envelope was on the silver table in the private surgery lounge. My name was written on it. Leena Patel. I stood there with a mop in my hand and wet gloves on my fingers. It was 2 in the morning. The hospital was almost quiet, but hospitals are never fully quiet. Machines beeped far away. A cart rolled somewhere down the hall. The air smelled like soap, coffee, and fear. I was the night cleaner. Most people did not see me. They saw the clean floor after I left. They saw the fresh trash bag. They saw the shine on the glass doors. But they did not see me. That night, someone had seen me enough to write my name. I looked around the lounge. It was empty. The soft lights were still on. A half-full cup of black coffee sat by the window. A white coat hung over a chair. It belonged to Dr. Vivian Cross, the most famous heart surgeon in the city. Everyone knew her. She was tall, calm, and cold as ice. She had dark hair that never seemed out of place. She wore clean suits under her white coat. Donors loved her. News cameras loved her. Patients prayed for her hands. I was scared to touch anything that belonged to her, but the envelope had my name on it. So I opened it. My breath stopped. Inside was cash. So much cash. I counted with shaking hands. 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, $12,000. My knees went weak. There was a small note inside too. It said, "Wear something black. Be my date tomorrow night. No questions." I read the words 3 times. Then I laughed once, but it came out like a broken sound. This had to be a joke. Maybe one of the nurses had done it. Maybe a rich doctor wanted to laugh at the cleaner. Maybe someone had seen my old shoes and my tired face and thought it would be funny to wave money in front of me. I put the cash back in the envelope fast. Then a voice spoke behind me. "It is not a joke." I turned so quickly that the mop fell from my hand. Dr. Vivian Cross stood in the doorway. She was still in her blue surgery scrubs. Her hair was tied back. Her eyes looked tired, but they were sharp. She looked like she had just walked out of a storm and refused to let anyone see the rain on her. I held out the envelope. "I think this is yours," I said. Her eyes dropped to the money, then came back to my face. "No," she said. "It is yours, if you say yes." My heart beat so loud that I could hear it. Say yes to what? Her face did not change, but something in her voice did. "I need someone real beside me," she said. "Just for one evening." I stared at her. A woman like Dr. Vivian Cross did not need someone like me. She had rich people around her. She had doctors around her. She had a whole city clapping for her. So why did she need a cleaner as her date? I picked up my mop because I did not know what else to do. "Dr. Cross," I said, "I clean your floors. I know. I clean your surgery rooms. I know that too. I am not the kind of woman you take to a donor dinner." Her jaw moved a little, like she was biting back a thought. "That is exactly why I am asking you." I should have walked away. I should have handed her the envelope and gone back to work. But $12,000 was not a joke to me. $12,000 was my father's shop. It was the old bell over the door. It was shelves full of rice, spices, tea, and canned soup. It was my father standing behind the counter with tired eyes, telling every customer, "Pay me when you can." It was the place my mother had loved before she died. The landlord wanted the money by Friday. If we did not pay, the shop would close. Dr. Cross looked at me like she already knew I was trapped. That made me angry. "Why me?" I asked. She stepped inside and closed the door behind her. For a moment, the room felt smaller. "Tomorrow night is the hospital donor dinner," she said. "The board will be there. Reporters will be there. My ex will be there." I knew her ex. Everyone in the hospital knew her. Dr. Simone Vance. She was a board member now. She smiled like she was giving you a gift, but her eyes always felt like a knife. Dr. Cross looked away for the first time. Simone has started rumors, she said. She says I am unstable. She says I am hiding something. She wants the board to control me. She wants them to control the new heart center. I did not speak. Vivian looked back at me. They believe in pictures more than truth, she said. If I arrive alone, they will say I am weak. If I arrive with someone paid by the board or chosen by the board, they will own me. I need someone they cannot control. So you picked me? Yes. Because I am poor? No. Because no one will believe I matter. Her face changed then. It was small, but I saw it. No, she said softly. Because I have watched you. My fingers tightened around the mop handle. You watched me clean? I watched you speak to scared families at 3 in the morning. I watched you bring water to a woman crying outside the ICU. I watched you sit with a boy whose mother was in surgery because the nurses were too busy. You are calm, you are kind, and you do not lie with your eyes. I did not know what to do with those words. No one at that hospital had ever spoken to me like that. Still, I shook my head. I do not belong in that room. Vivian walked closer. The light caught her face. She looked perfect from far away, but up close, I saw the cracks, the tired lines, the tight mouth. The way her eyes seemed too lonely for a woman who had everything. I clean your operating rooms, I said. I don't belong at your table. Her voice dropped. Tomorrow night, you belong wherever I say you belong. I hated how proud she sounded. I hated more that part of me believed her. The envelope felt heavy in my hand. I thought of my father counting coins at the kitchen table. I thought of the red final notice from the landlord. I thought of the shop lights going dark forever. So I said yes. Vivian gave one small nod. Wear something black, she said. A car will pick you up at 6. Then she turned to leave. Dr. Cross, I said. She stopped. Do I have to pretend to love you? For the first time, she did not answer right away. Then she said, No, just pretend you are not afraid of me. She left the room. I stood there with $12,000 in my hand. I did not know it yet, but I had just accepted the most dangerous role of my life. The next day felt like a dream I could not wake up from. I slept for 3 hours after my shift, then went to the bank. My hands shook as I paid the overdue money for my father's shop. When the clerk stamped the paper, I almost cried. My father did cry. He stood behind the counter with the paper in his hands. Lena, he said, where did you get this? I told him I had taken extra work. It was not a full lie. He touched my cheek. You already work too much. I am okay, Papa. He did not believe me, but he smiled because the shop was safe. For 1 more month, at least. After that, I went to a small boutique across town. I had never been inside a place like that. The women who worked there looked at my old jeans and my cheap shoes. One of them asked if I was lost. I almost left. Then I remembered Vivian's voice. Tomorrow night, you belong wherever I say you belong. No, I thought. Tonight, I belong wherever I choose. I told the woman I needed something black for a formal dinner. She brought me dresses. Long dresses. Soft dresses. Dresses that made me feel like I was wearing someone else's skin. I tried one on and looked in the mirror. It was pretty, but it was not me. Then I saw it. A black velvet suit. Sharp jacket. Clean pants. Soft shine under the light. I touched the sleeve. The woman said, That is not what most dates choose. I looked at myself in the mirror. Good, I said. When I put it on, I stood taller. I still saw the cleaner. I still saw the tired girl who had worked all night. I still saw the daughter who was scared of losing everything. But I also saw someone else. Someone who could walk into a room full of rich people and not bow her head. At 6, the black car came. Vivian was waiting inside. She wore a white suit with no jewelry except a thin silver watch. Her hair was down. Her lips were a soft red. She looked like the kind of woman people moved out of the way for. I opened the car door and got in. She turned to look at me, then she froze. Her eyes moved from my face to the velvet jacket, then back to my face. I waited for her to say I should have worn a dress. She did not. For a long second, she said nothing at all. Then she said one word. Perfect. The word was quiet. It did something strange to my chest. I looked out the window because I did not want her to see my face. The car began to move. For a while, neither of us spoke. The city lights passed over Vivian's face. Each flash made her look softer, then cold again. Finally, I said, "What is the story?" She looked at me. "Our story?" "Yes. How did we meet? How long have we been together? What should I say if someone asks?" Her hands rested in her lap, but I saw her fingers pressed together. "We do not need a full story." That sounds like a bad plan. I don't make bad plans. I almost smiled. You paid your night cleaner to be your fake date. That is not a normal plan. Her mouth moved, like she wanted to smile too, but she stopped herself. "We met at the hospital," she said. "You are studying for nursing school. We are private." "That is true. I know. You really do watch people. I watch everything. Then you must be very tired." She turned her face to the window. "Yes," she said. "I am." The answer was so honest that I did not know what to say. When the car stopped, cameras were already flashing outside the hotel. I had seen this place only in pictures. Gold lights hung from the ceiling. Long steps led to glass doors. Men in suits and women in shining gowns moved like they were on a stage. My stomach twisted. Vivian noticed. "Breathe," she said. "I am breathing." "No, you are preparing to run." I looked at her. "Can you blame me?" Her face softened just a little. "No." The driver opened the door. Vivian stepped out first. The cameras flashed harder. "Dr. Cross? Over here! Vivian, look this way." Then she turned and held out her hand to me. I stared at it. It was one thing to take her money in a quiet lounge. It was another thing to take her hand in front of the whole world. But I placed my hand in hers. Her fingers closed around mine. They were warm. She helped me out of the car. The flashes hit my eyes. I almost stepped back, but Vivian's hand moved to my lower back. It was a gentle touch, not hard, not fake, just enough to tell me she was there. A reporter called out, "Dr. Cross, is this your partner?" Vivian paused. I knew the plan. She was supposed to say friend. Her hand stayed on my back. Then she looked at me, not at the reporter. "Yes," she said. "This is Lena, not my friend. Not my guest, just yes." My heart started racing, because her voice sounded too real. Inside, the dinner was even worse than I feared. The ballroom was bright and huge. White flowers covered every table. Glasses shone under gold lights. People smiled with their teeth, but not with their eyes. Vivian walked beside me, as if we had done this many times. I tried to copy her steps. At first, people were polite. They asked my name. They asked how I knew Vivian. They looked at my suit, my hands, my shoes. I could feel them trying to place me. Was I rich? Was I famous? Was I useful? When they could not find the answer, they stopped looking at my face. They looked through me. One older donor touched Vivian's arm and said, "You always surprise us, Dr. Cross." Vivian answered, "Only when people stop paying attention." The woman laughed, but I did not think Vivian was joking. Then Simone arrived. I saw her before she saw me. Dr. Simone Vance wore dark green silk and diamonds at her throat. Her smile was smooth. Her eyes were sharp. She moved through the room like she owned the floor. When she saw Vivian, her smile grew. When she saw me, it turned cruel. Vivian, she said, kissing the air near her cheek. You came. I was invited, Vivian said. Yes, but you do not always do what is expected. Simone's eyes moved to me. And who is this? Vivian's hand touched my back again. This is Lena Patel. Simone looked at me for one long second. Then I saw it. She knew. Not because I looked poor, not because of my suit. She knew because she had seen me at the hospital with a trash cart. Her smile widened. How lovely, Simone said. I always enjoy meeting the people who support our hospital. I knew what she meant. Support, serve, clean, stay quiet. Vivian's jaw tightened. Before she could speak, a man came to lead us to our table. I thought the worst was over. I was wrong. Dinner felt like sitting under a bright light while people waited for me to make one wrong move. I used the wrong fork once. A woman noticed. I did not know the name of a wine. A man smiled like I was a child. Vivian stayed calm, but I could feel anger in her silence. Then Simone stood near our table with a glass in her hand. She did not sit. She wanted an audience. So, Lena, she said loudly, what exactly do you do? The table went quiet. The people around us turned their heads. I felt Vivian go still beside me. Everyone waited for me to lie. They wanted me to say I was a nurse already, or a student at some big school, or the daughter of someone important. I looked at Simone, then I looked at the people at the table. My hands were cold, but my voice did not shake. I clean the rooms where your patients cry after surgery, I said. I empty the trash after families get bad news. I mop the floors before doctors walk in to save a life. I know more about fear, hope, and getting better than most people in this ballroom. No one spoke. Even the music felt quiet. Simone's smile broke for one small second. Vivian turned toward me. Her eyes looked different. Not cold, not proud, wide, soft, almost hurt, like she had never truly seen anyone before. Then she stood. Excuse us, Vivian said. She did not ask me to follow. She took my hand and led me out of the ballroom. We walked through a side door and onto a balcony. The city was below us. Lights filled the wet streets. Rain was falling softly, making small silver lines in the air. Vivian let go of my hand and gripped the stone rail. For a moment, she did not speak. I stood beside her, trying to slow my heart. You did not pay me to defend myself, I said. Her eyes closed. No, she said. But I should have defended you first. Those words were quiet. They were not for the cameras. They were not for the board. They were for me. I looked at her face in the rain. You looked scared in there, I said. I was angry. No, you were scared. She gave a sad little laugh. You are very direct for someone I hired to act. I am not good at acting. Neither am I, it seems. Rain touched my cheek. Before I could wipe it away, Vivian lifted her hand. Her fingers brushed my skin. She wiped the raindrops slowly, like my face was something breakable. I stopped breathing. She was close now. Too close. Her eyes moved to my lips, then back to my eyes. I knew I should step away. This was fake. This was one night. This woman was my boss's boss's boss, in a way. She was rich. She was powerful. She lived in a world that could crush mine and never look back. But her hand was warm on my cheek, and for 1 second, she did not look powerful at all. She looked lonely. She leaned closer. I leaned too. Then the balcony door opened. Simone stood there, smiling. Oh, she said. Did I interrupt something real? Vivian dropped her hand. The cold came back to her face. Go inside, Simone. Simone stepped onto the balcony. I heard enough. Vivian moved in front of me. You heard nothing. I heard your little date speak like a hero, Simone said. Very moving. But the board will want to know why the great Dr. Vivian Cross brought cleaning staff to a donor dinner and called her a partner. I felt heat rise in my face. Vivian's voice was low. Do not speak about her like that. Simone's eyes flashed. There it is, she said. That temper, that lack of control, that is what I told them about. Vivian went silent. I saw the trap then. Simone did not care about me. She cared about making Vivian look weak. After Simone left, Vivian stayed on the balcony for a long moment. I wanted to touch her arm. I did not. When we went back inside, the music had changed. Couples were dancing in the center of the room. Simone was waiting. She walked straight to Vivian and held out her hand. Dance with me, she said. For the donors, we should show them we are still friends. Vivian looked like stone. I do not think so. Oh, come now, Simone said. Do not make a scene. She promised me the first dance, I said. The room went quiet again. Vivian looked at me. I held out my hand. For the first time all night, she did not look in control. Then she took my hand. We walked to the dance floor. The music was slow. I had never danced in a ballroom before. I did not know where to put my hands. Vivian guided me gently. One hand held mine. The other rested at my waist. Follow me, she whispered. I am trying. You are doing well. I stepped on your foot. I have had worse pain. I almost laughed. Then her face became serious. We turned under the gold lights. Everyone was watching, but I began to hear only the music and Vivian's breathing. Her hand pressed softly at my back. Her eyes stayed on mine. I'm scared, she whispered. I looked up at her. Of them? No. Her voice was so soft I almost missed it. Of how much I want this to be real. My heart ached. The room blurred. For one wild second, I forgot the money. I forgot Simone. I forgot the cameras and the donors and the board. There was only Vivian. Her face came closer. My fingers tightened around her hand. She was going to kiss me, in front of everyone. Then someone clapped too loudly. The song ended. Vivian stepped back like she had touched fire. The room started moving again. People smiled. People whispered. Simone watched from the edge of the floor with eyes full of hate. A man from the board came to Vivian and said they needed her for a private word. Vivian looked at me. Stay here. I did not like the sound of her voice. She followed the board members through a side door. I stood alone near the flowers. Minutes passed. Then I saw Simone walk by. She did not see me follow. The side hall was quiet. I stopped near a half-open door. Inside, Simone's voice was clear. End this tonight, Vivian. Vivian answered. This is none of your business. It is board business when you bring a hospital cleaner into a donor event and call it romance. She has a name. Yes. Lena. Very sweet. Very touching. But the board is already worried. You are the face of the new heart center. We need control. We need trust. We need you clean. I felt sick. Vivian said, Do not threaten me. I am not threatening you. I am giving you a choice. End this fake romance tonight, or the board removes you from the Heart Center project. Silence. Then Simone said, You love that project more than anything. We both know it. I stepped back before they came out. My chest hurt. I went to the balcony again because I could not breathe inside. Vivian found me there. Her face was pale. You heard, she said. Yes. She looked at the rain. Lena, this was not supposed to go this far. I swallowed. What does that mean? It means this was supposed to be simple. Simple? I pay you. You stand beside me. The board backs off. And then you go home. The words cut deeper than I wanted them to. I nodded slowly. Right. I go home. She turned to me. That is not what I meant. It sounded clear, her voice cracked. You were never supposed to become important. I stared at her. She looked like she wished she could pull the words back, but once words leave, they do not return the same. I stepped away from her. Thank you for being honest, Dr. Cross. Lena. No, you paid me for one night. I did the job. Her face twisted. That is not fair. No, I said. What is not fair is letting me believe you saw me, then reminding me I was just part of your plan. She reached for me, but I moved back. Do not, I said. Her hand fell. I walked out of the hotel alone. No cameras flashed for me outside. No one asked my name. The rain soaked my velvet suit as I stood on the sidewalk and waited for a cab I could not afford. When I got home, I took off the suit and sat on my bed. My phone buzzed. A bank alert. Vivian had sent the $12,000 to my account. Then another alert came. More money. Far more. My eyes burned. A message came after it. You earned more than we agreed. I sent the extra money back. My hands shook as I typed. I was your date for one night. I was not for sale. Then I turned off my phone. I thought that would be the end of Dr. Vivian Cross. But some people leave a mark you cannot wash away, even when you clean for a living. For the next week, I worked my night shifts like always. I cleaned rooms. I changed trash bags. I mopped floors. I studied nursing books during my break. I helped my father at the shop during the day. I was busy enough to forget, but I did not forget. Every time I passed the hot wing, I thought of her. Every time I saw a white coat, my chest tightened. Vivian did not come to me. I saw her once from far away after surgery. She looked tired, more tired than before. Her hair was not perfect. Her face was pale. She walked with her hands in her pockets, like she was holding herself together. I told myself I did not care. Then one night, near 4 in the morning, I found her in the hospital chapel. The chapel was small. It had wooden chairs, soft lights, and a window with colored glass. People came there when they had no more words. Vivian sat in the front row. Her blue scrub top had a dark stain near the sleeve. Her hands were clean, but she kept rubbing them together like she could still feel blood there. I should have left. Instead, I walked down the aisle. She did not turn around. I just finished a surgery, she said. I stopped. How did you know it was me? You walk softly, she said. But not like you are hiding. I sat 2 chairs away from her. For a while, we said nothing. Then she spoke. The patient lived. That is good. Yes. But she did not sound happy. I looked at her hands. Then why are you here? She laughed once, but it was empty. Because saving a heart is easier than having one. I looked at her. The chapel was so quiet I could hear the air system hum. I said, you can cut open hearts, but you run from your own. She closed her eyes. The words landed hard. When she opened them, they were wet. I had never seen Vivian Cross cry, not even close. I chose you, she said, because you were the only person in that hospital who looked at people like they mattered. My throat tightened. She turned toward me. I watched doctors walk past crying families. I watched donors walk past sick children. I watched board members talk about care like it was a business plan. Then I watched you. You stopped. You listened. You gave people their names back. I did not know what to say. She looked down. I told myself I picked you because you were calm. Because you were honest. Because no one could use you against me. She took a shaky breath. But the truth is, I picked you because I wanted to stand beside someone good. My heart hurt so much that I almost wished she had stayed cold. That night was real for me, I said. She looked at me. I know. No, I said. You do not know. I am not rich. I am not famous. I cannot make the board clap. But I know when someone sees me. And you did. Then you got scared and tried to turn me back into a job. A tear slipped down her cheek. I am sorry. I had wanted those words. Now they only made the pain sharper. I fell for you, I said. There it was. The truth. Small in the chapel, huge in my chest. Vivian looked at me like my words had broken her. I love you, she whispered. I could not move. The whole world seemed to stop. Then she added, but I cannot risk my career. The world started again, and it was colder. I stood up. She stood too. Lena, please. I shook my head. No. I have worked my whole life for this. I know. The Heart Center could save thousands of people. I know. The board can take it from me. Then let them see who you are. Her face filled with fear. I stepped back. Keep your career, I said, but do not call it courage. Then I left her standing in the chapel. That time, I did not cry until I got home. A week passed. Then everything changed. I was at my father's shop when the news came on the small TV above the counter. The woman on the screen looked serious. Breaking news from St. Aurelia Hospital tonight. Dr. Vivian Cross has resigned from the new Luxury Heart Center project after releasing records that suggest donor money was being used in secret deals by members of the hospital board. I dropped a bag of rice. My father looked at me. Lena? I could not answer. Vivian's face came on the screen. She was standing in front of reporters. She was not wearing a designer suit. She wore a simple dark coat. Her hair moved in the wind. A reporter asked, Dr. Cross, does this mean you are quitting medicine? Vivian looked straight into the camera. No, she said. It means I am done serving people who think healing belongs only to the rich. My hands covered my mouth. The reporter asked, Where will you go? Vivian said, To the East Ward Community Clinic. There are patients there who have been waiting too long. The shop bell rang as someone came in, but I was already moving. I ran. I ran down the sidewalk. I ran past the bus stop. I ran until my lungs burned. Then I found a cab and gave the driver the clinic address. When I reached the East Ward Community Clinic, the building looked nothing like the hospital. The paint was old, the sign was cracked. People sat outside on metal chairs. A little boy kicked his shoes against the wall. An old woman held a paper bag of medicine in her lap. And there she was. Vivian stood near the front door. No white coat, no sharp suit, no armor, just dark pants, a gray sweater, and tired eyes. She saw me and went still. I walked toward her slowly. For once, she did not look like the most famous surgeon in the city. She looked like a woman waiting to find out if she had lost something forever. I don't have the title anymore, she said. My eyes filled with tears. Good, I said. I never fell in love with the title. Her face broke. She took one step toward me. I took the next. Then we were in each other's arms. She held me like she had been holding her breath for years. I felt her face press into my hair. I was scared, she whispered. I know. I hurt you. I know. I love you. This time, I believed her. I pulled back and looked at her. Then, love me in the open. She nodded. No pause. No fear. Yes, she said. And then she kissed me. It was soft at first, like a question. Then, it became an answer. People walked past us. A child laughed. Someone clapped from the clinic steps. The city moved around us like the world had not changed. But mine had. 6 months later, my life looked nothing like it had before. I still woke up early. I still helped my father at the shop when I could. But now, there was a nursing school book on the counter beside the cash box. My father told every customer, my daughter is going to be a nurse, even if they only came in to buy milk. At night, I studied until my eyes burned. Some days were hard. Some days I was so tired I fell asleep with my notes on my chest. But I was not alone. Vivian worked at the community clinic now. She did not have the big office anymore. She did not have donors sending flowers. She did not have board members trying to shape her life. She had old exam rooms, broken chairs, and patients who brought her homemade food because they could not pay any other way. And she was happier, not always. Healing was still hard. Money was still short. The clinic needed more doctors, more nurses, more beds, more everything. But Vivian smiled more. Real smiles. Small ones at first, then bigger ones. Sometimes I caught her watching me while I helped patients fill out forms. "What?" I would ask. She would say, "Nothing." But her eyes would say, "I see you." And I saw her too. Not the title, not the famous doctor. I saw the woman who had been taught to be perfect and had chosen to be honest instead. One evening, the clinic held a small fundraiser. It was not like the donor dinner at the hotel. There were no gold lights, no ice statues, no women judging my shoes. There were folding chairs, paper plates, and flowers from the corner store. Patients came with their children. Nurses came after long shifts. My father brought trays of hot food from the shop. I wore the black velvet suit again. Vivian saw me from across the room and stopped walking. I smiled. "Still perfect?" I asked when she came close. Her eyes softened. More than ever. Later, she stood at the front of the room. She held a small mic in one hand. Everyone grew quiet. Vivian looked nervous, which still felt strange to see. Then her eyes found mine. She smiled. "I used to think healing started in an operating room," she said. "I thought it started with skill, with power, with the right title on the door." She paused. But I was wrong. My chest grew tight. Vivian held out her hand to me. I walked to her. This time, no one whispered like I did not belong. This time, no one looked through me. This time, I stood beside her because I wanted to. Vivian took my hand. "This is Leena Patel," she said. "She is a nursing student. She is the daughter of a good man who feeds half this neighborhood on credit. She is the woman who taught me that healing starts when you finally see people." The room clapped. My father wiped his eyes with a napkin. I looked at Vivian, and the noise faded. She leaned close and whispered, "Are you afraid?" I smiled. "No." "Good," she said, "because I am not either." Months before, Vivian Cross had paid me $12,000 to stand beside her for one fake night. She thought she was buying a date. She thought she was buying a picture. She thought she was buying a shield against the people who wanted to own her. But money was never the real price. The real price was truth. She had to lose the title that trapped her. I had to believe I belonged in rooms that were built to keep me out. We both had to stop hiding. That night, I looked around the small clinic full of people who had been ignored for too long. I looked at my father, proud and smiling. I looked at Vivian, open and brave, with my hand in hers, and I knew something simple and true. A fake date had brought me into her world, but love had helped us build a better one. Vivian once paid me $12,000 for one fake date, but what she really bought was the courage to choose a real life.